Big time, Caridi. God, you do so much for this program.
I want to start questions.
3 tournaments in a row. It's becoming a habit for you. Talk about that.
I don't know what the numbers are. We have bases in our weight room that shows all of our tournament appearances, and I think you'd be the man to answer this question, but I think it's only been one time in program history before this 3-year run where we've had 3 consecutive regionals. Is that
61
accurate?
years. 61 years.
64.
Yeah.
Oh.
61 years since it's happened.
Okay, so 61 years since we made back-to-back-to-back regionals, so it's an honor, obviously, to be the leader of the program when that happens, and Coach Mazey had so much to do with that, and so to be able to continue what we started and keep winning ball games and making regionals. At the end of the day, however you want to slice it, it's about getting to this tournament. So if you're the 64th team in or the first team in, you have an opportunity to do special things if you get your foot in the door. And so we've said from the very beginning, our team has been built on opportunities. We have depth on our team, and there's been a lot of guys that fought for opportunities to play on a regular basis. And so this is another opportunity for our team. So if you get in the tournament, you got a shot, and that's all you can ever ask for in this world.
You guys are almost the 64th team listed on the TV in there. I was wondering what that weight was like as you're watching all these regionals come and go.
Oh, I felt good. There's always a little bit of rumor mill. There's humans that do these committees, and there's always a little bit of gossip and rumors going in. So I felt good that we were in the tournament. Didn't know exactly where we were going to go, but our resume certainly showed that we would be a tournament contender after winning the Big 12 regular season title.
Pleasantly surprised the league got 8. Pretty good depth this year in the league.
Absolutely. I felt like maybe disrespected when it came to regional hosts, and because of that, I thought maybe they were going to have more Big 12 teams in. Historically, I don't know the answer, but I think I've been in the Big 12 now for 14 or 15 straight years, and I don't remember there ever being 8 teams in that. So I think that was a great start for our league. It's a larger league now with 14 members playing baseball, but over half of our league getting a regional is certainly a great sign for the Big 12.
Is there some reaction to being in the Clemson regional and being paired with Kentucky?
Great. We have a little familiarity with Kentucky. We played there in 2023, and so we got to go play them. And so I think with our team, if you go play teams and you kind of know what they're about, we have people that are on this team that lost to Kentucky 2 years ago, and so I think there'll actually be more confidence just knowing who you're going up against. You've been there and done that a little bit, so that the instant reaction is just we're excited to be in a regional. You saw our kids' reactions. I think that was incredible. That's how it's always been here. I'm so proud that it continued this year. I think when you're watching that show, you see different teams and their personalities and characteristics and culture and how they react to things. And our guys were fired up. I think they could have sent us to LSU or Oregon or Clemson or anywhere else, and you probably would have seen a similar reaction. Those guys just like to play. I'm always like, let's keep it on the East Coast. Let's get a little bit closer to home.
I was going to say not Oregon.
Yeah, but our guys wanted it.
Oregon.
And that's last year when they sent us to Arizona, they were going bonkers, and they're fired up. And we're like, the 3-hour time change, cross the country travel, maybe not what's best, but maybe the kids know something we don't because we went and won that regional. So
Probably better room and board than the last time you played Kentucky.
it has to be. It can't possibly be worse. Last time we went to Kentucky, we stayed in bad freshman dorms. And so, yeah, if they got a Holiday Inn, we're on the come up in the program. So all good. I think just excited to go down there and play. Haven't dove into the scouting report or the matchups or things like that. So within the next 24 hours, we need to decide who we're going to pitch so we can line up their bullpens and their preparation for game 1. Usually when you're a 2 or 3 seed, you don't have the luxury of pitching off. Sometimes a 1 seed will do that when they're facing a 4 seed in order to win a tougher matchup down the road in the tournament. But normally you go with your horses. So we'll go look at like left-handed, right-handed matchups and decide who we need to pitch.
The next 5 days, is that more physical or mental? Psychological?
I think in general our game is always going to be more mental and psychological. There's swings and there's hot streaks and cold streaks. For us, this is probably as revitalizing as we can. Winning that game against Cincinnati gave us a little juice because we were 0-6 in that tournament before winning a game at Globe Life. And so I thought we needed to win a game, although truthfully, we didn't need to win a game to make an NCAA tournament. I think as a team, we needed to win a game because we hadn't tasted that in a while. We got so used to winning, it became kind of commonplace that maybe we forgot how hard it is and how humbling it is to lose. And so I thought we needed to win a game, and we accomplished that goal. And so now being selected to the NCAA tournament, having the excitement, I'm thankful for the fans. I'm thankful for you guys for covering us. Coming here for the GOAT ended up being a cool idea because I think these players see there's hundreds of people that are willing to drop what they're doing on Memorial Day, a vacation day, when they could be at the pool with their kids or their family, but they want to come celebrate with the Mountaineers. I think that's reinvigorating. And so we have practice right now, practice after this celebration, because if you're not ready to go ram your head through a wall and practice hard right now, you never will, right? And so I think, to answer your question, it's both, but probably mentally and psychologically, just being excited and aggressive going into a regional is probably the most important thing, and it feels like our kids are there.
Coach, that question you brought up on who to pitch, when you look at the totality of the region, after you get past Kern, does that question become a little more difficult for you at all? Or?
I think Cartsonis has really, this will make for an interesting,
Is that your truck?
no one's breaking
Trying
into
to
my
distract us, guys.
wagon right now. I think Cartsonis has really stabilized him as the number 2 starter. He's been fantastic for us. He's older, he's a veteran, he competes at a really high level, and so I feel comfortable with Cartsonis and Kern, whatever the best matchup is. If we went and we won with Cartsonis, I wouldn't be surprised. If we won with Kern, I wouldn't be surprised. Also, as a coach, when you make decisions, it feels like a lot of times it comes down to who are you willing to lose with.
Sure.
And I'm willing to lose with both of those guys. So I think that's where the matchup piece would come in. If there's just massive splits against left-handed pitching or right-handed pitching, or I believe Kentucky runs the bases very aggressively, maybe over 120 stolen bases this year, if I'm not mistaken. So sometimes left-handed pitching can neutralize a run game better than a right-handed pitching. So if that's really their game, maybe Kern is the best option.
Steve, you're kind of hitting on some of this, but at large, managing in the postseason is maybe different than the regular season. But managing conference tournament is different from the regional too. And how much of it is just like, best arm, best bat available, get 27 outs, get one more run, just get through the day and then figure out again tomorrow?
Mainly that.
Yeah.
I think that's the majority of the thought process. And that's how we played the whole season until you clinch a Big 12 title. That changes things quickly. And then you play in a tournament, that changes things quickly. And so I don't have experience managing those things. That was the first time that I've gone through that process. So certainly a learning process for me. But until we did that, clinch the Big 12 title, we literally played game by game. There was no next. Midweek games are completely different. Midweek's a different animal. But until that, when you played weekend series for the Mountaineers for the first 90% of the season, it was, what do we need to do to win today? That is the only concern, only thought, and we were extremely successful with that mindset as a coaching staff. And as you started to have to manage arms and health of midweeks down the stretch, already clinching in a tournament, sometimes you can back off a little bit because fatigue is a factor later in the season. And I think even that back off from like a player psychological standpoint can sometimes be hard to balance.
How is your health right now?
Getting better. I think Estridge was not available during the Big 12 tournament. We were hoping and praying that he would be, and so we didn't count him out necessarily, depending on how deep we went in that tournament. So Estridge had been our closer, and so our back-end guy to win a game in a big moment was not available. He threw a bullpen yesterday, and it went well. He's going to sim game to hitters tomorrow, and so if that goes well, we will feel like we just picked up an important arm for our season. Late in that game against Arizona, we played Armani Guzman and Ben Lumsden, and Guzman came in and got 2 hits and made it look easy, and Lumsden smashed a ball up the middle and then hit a ball 407 feet at any ballpark in America other than Globe Life. It's a homer. The guy who was pitching at the time was Colin McKinney, who was Arizona's Friday night starter previously. And so we feel really good about those guys. Our lineup's been exceptional, but it's also, over the course of the last 2 weeks, been a little bit stale. Part of that was because of Sam White's injury. we were able to change catchers back and forth, which allowed us to have different DH options. If Logan was going to DH and Gavin Kelly would catch, then you could change the lineup around a little bit and actually utilize our depth. Since Sam White got hurt, Logan's caught every day. So his legs get heavy, and you don't have an additional DH option because Sam White has to DH. And so I think it's important maybe for moving forward to still interchange some of those players and maybe provide a little bit of a breath of fresh air or some dynamic into the lineup with a Guzman, a Lumsden, Ellis Garcia, just because when we were winning so much, we were playing 14 guys on a regular basis, and since that injury, feels like we've had to stick with certain dudes, and maybe fatigue has come into play a little bit more.
So
Well, you
has Sam cleared that bar for you?
Sam is going to have to still DH. He's going to give us everything he could. If he could potentially play somewhere, we don't know that, but just going to look at options and really focus on pitching matchups of the opposing team. So like left versus right with Swain and Guzman and Lumsden and Reinhardt, and who really has the best chance against each specific pitcher.
Van Kempen, will you be able to kind of test him out at all? or-
He threw yesterday and is working to get ready for the regional. If that's a realistic possibility or not, it appears to be further away than an Estridge. So wouldn't count on that one at that point. Yeah, I mean, GVK was a weekend starter and Estridge was our closer, and but I don't feel good about where GVK would be at. And then if
That really
You-
stinks
you-
for him though, because it's 2 regionals in a row. He's yeah,
brutal and
yeah.
he if he did feel like he was healthy, we would be finding out if he really is in the biggest games of the season.
Right.
So it's just a tough position to be in.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, Coach.